We're excited to be back with Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, Season 3, Episode 8, Reckoning. We got a lot of answers. Very, very powerful episode leading up to the last two for the season finale. So, the episode started off with Rock sitting in her house. She had on a nice little red, silky, PJs, have her head tied up. So I'm assuming she's winding down for bed. Apparently she has a lot on her mind with everything that's going on. And all of a sudden, she's hearing yelling outside. She gets up and goes and looks out the window, and it's Lou. Lou. Boy, he's out there in the white folk neighborhood showing out. He's yelling and pretty much snitching, just telling it all. He run telling everything while he's drunk, staggering all over her lawn, calling her out. Rock, who you want me to kill next? Rock, who you want me? What you want me to do? So she goes out there like, nigga, you don't get your in this house. I just don't understand with him because I agree with Rock. Bro, you are grown. But nevertheless, he's carrying all of this weight in his heart, soul, and mind. But it seems like the deaths that she had him to do are the ones that's bothering him the most. Like, Lou, you did some stuff on your own, bruh. You did some stuff on your own. So I don't know, but he's all over the place. So she gets him inside. She closes the door, and you see him passed out on the bed. She took him, I guess, to one of our guest rooms, let him sleep it off. She's telling Marvin that she's having their mom to come over to watch Lou for her while they go out and take care of business, because they got to go, take care of, find out who's, who the op is and all this type of stuff. Well, she's got a meeting with Quan, so she doesn't know about the heroin yet. So she knows she's got a lot of stuff to do with all the recon that she's done. So she needs her mom basically to sit with Lou and keep him in the house because she doesn't want him. He's a loose cannon right now. So she wants the mom to come and sit with him. Marvin's okay with that, but Marvin really, really feels like that Lou needs help. And I think that's mainly because Marvin has, had his own to deal with his own addiction demons. So, he's more understanding and have more feelings towards that with Lou. So the mom comes over and you see them talking, and she's giving the mom the instructions of do not let him out of the house. I knew when she said it, he was going to most definitely get out of the house. Of course, the first thing, though, the mom sticks her hands out and wants money. So now I'm telling myself, because I had been feeling sorry for the mom, like give her some money, y'all need to give her money, but I'm beginning to think she a little money hungry. Because your son is definitely hurting, and the first thing you ask for is money. However, I really do think that the mom, there's a lot more about her that we don't know about that we're going to find out. So we're going to see. So then we see Kanan. He's having a meeting with Snaps, Pop, and Ronnie's there. Snaps wants to know from Kanan which would he rather have out of, I guess, people that work for or in the business or whatever. Which is more important for people to fear you or respect you? And Kanan answered, he sat there and he said, well, I mean, really can't have one without the other, because if folk fear you, they're going to respect you. So if you put that fear in them, you're going to get their respect, in other words. So Snap seemed to really be impressed by that. So you could tell that he liked the young boy's answer. First, you have this weird interchange with Pops and Ronnie. And Pops is wanting to know from Ronnie, like, who have you smashed? Tell me about somebody that you smashed lately or something. She want to know about his sex life. And it was just kind of weird to me. It was weird, but I think it's because, she seems to know about people's sex lives. And I think that she may have heard that, or she suspects that he's homosexual. Not sure where she was going with it, but she wanted to know what woman he's been with. So he was like, oh yeah, I have. And then she said, well, what was her name? What was the name of the last one you were with or something like that? He was like, I don't remember her name. She said, what you mean you don't know? It was just weird. I don't know where we're going with that or why we had to hear that little side conversation, but they put that in there. Then it pans over to Snaps and Kanan. And Snaps is questioning Kanan about Rock. He's first, letting him know, hey, your mom's in the game, man. She's the op. Your mom is the op. And I think he's letting him know, or he's sending the message to him that, hey, if it go down, she's the op. You got to, he want to make sure that he's going to be on their side. And he said, like, my mom ain't got nothing to do with what I'm doing, something like that, he said. Or I don't care what she got going on. I don't know. You know how he is about his mama. He's real short when it comes to his mama. And he said, but Rock's been in the game. She know her stuff. She's really good at the game. And he's like, I'm good at the game. So I think Snaps is really, really feeling the confidence that Kanan has and his knowledge and everything. It's like he's leading this whole operation, because you think about it too, he's talking more so to Kanan than he is Ronnie. And Ronnie, what was this whole big dog fight? I'm still just tripping off that. Anyway, then we are at Juke in Marvin's house. And here you've got Aisha and Juke, and they're in Juke's bedroom. And Aisha goes over to the mirror and she sees the picture of Juke and Nicole. And one thing about women, when she see a picture with you and somebody else, she gonna start type questioning you, especially if she's a little interesting. I think she's beginning to catch feelings for Juke. And as soon as she looked at that picture, she said, so you like white girls, huh? Juke was like, I liked Nicole. In other words, letting her know, look, I don't discriminate. I like Nicole. So then she comes over and gets on the bed next to Juke, and, they talk or whatever. And she wants to know about Nicole. Why did y'all break up? And she told her, we didn't. She died. And, she just kind of, showed her sympathy, gave her condolences and everything like that. And you could just tell that there's something brewing between these two. But we shall see. So then Rock tells Marvin to go and see what Kanan's got going on with Ronnie. That she can tell that something's going on with Kanan, Ronnie, Snaps, and Pop. That she's heard through the rumor mill. So she tells Marvin, listen, I need you to go look into this and see what's going on. And she said, I got a call from Quan. He needs to see me. I need to go talk to Quan. So, they go do that, and they leave Lou at home with their mother. So next we see Marvin in his car, and he's at the bando, outside of the bando, where they send the scooter boys off with their packs and everything. And Marvin's paying attention, so he hones in on this one particular guy that Kanan's sending off, because that was like the last one that Kanan did, and then Kanan and Ronnie went into the bando, and Marvin followed the young man. And when he gets to the place, he sees him get off the scooter, he taps on a door, and he goes in, and Marvin hides back like in the cutway. So when old boy come out, hops on his scooter, that's when Marvin yoked him off. And he roughed him up a little bit. It's like, hey, started asking him some questions like, what are you carrying? Dude wouldn't tell him. He said, I respect that. And he helped him get up. Even brushed him off. And you know how Marvin is. Marvin's very comical. I like Marvin a lot. And so he snatched the bag off and, unzipped it. He said, whoa, you guys are doing heroin? He's like, man, be careful with that. You get 5 to 10 with this. Something like they said, 5 to 10. You get 5 to 10 with this. So he sent him on his way after that. And then we see Rock. She's on her journey and she goes to meet with Quan because Quan has, sent for her to come see him. He needed to see her. She gets there and he shows her the heroin pack. The same pack that Marvin has peeped in the bag, right? And which they haven't talked yet, so they don't realize. And now Quan, this has made it to Quan, and Quan's like, listen, there's somebody in the streets. You got some competition. Now you done told me you're going to do more than what Neek did. Now on top of this, you got competition. It's not looking good for you, Rock. I told you, I'm only giving you 60 days. And Rock was like, I got it. He said, well, whoever this is, I need you to make an example of them. So she leaves. The next scene we see with Marvin, he's on the phone and he's talking to somebody. He's okay, we'll look into it. My sister just walked in. Rock's walking in the door. I'll let her know. Rock, her head already spinning with what she just found out with Quan. And you know how Rock is when it comes to business. That's really all she want to hear. So he tells her that was Shirley at the bar and that Lou is in the wind. He's missing. And, she's like that dumb MF, blah, 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 blah. but we got this going on. And he's like, well, no, I think we need to prioritize Lou right now. We need to find him. He needs us, sis. Like, he needs us. And that's when she pretty much said, that MF is grown. He needs to get over it. I've done dirt. You've done dirt. Like, he needs to get over it. We trying to get this money. Don't you want to get this money? Don't you need money? So that kind of calmed Marvin down for now. So then she shows him the pack and said, this is on the street. There's heroin being distributed. We've got some competition out there. We're going to have to try to find out who this competition is. And we got to take care of them. Quan is telling me I got to make an example of him. And Marvin took one look at it and was like, Rock is Kanan. And that just got rocked a boiling, boy. She found out it's Kanan. Like, what do you do? It's your own son. And this man, I told you got to make an example. Whew. So, what are you going to do, Rock? Rock also makes a stop while she's out to go and see Jerry, the guy back at the delivery truck that, shoot her off. And you see them sitting in a meeting room and they're talking. And there's another young man in there in the office as well. And she's telling Jerry, about, how it's the distro's gonna go and, they'll be able to, fly under the radar. They'll be able to make, all this extra money, use the space in their trucks, blah, 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 blah. So this other guy, he gets all excited that's sitting in there. He's all for it. And he even says, that now maybe we won't have to lay anybody off. So apparently they were struggling. Maybe business was slow. So he's all excited. The guy sitting behind the desk, he's all, hardcore and he's, whatever. He says, I want the same deal Hung has. And she's like, no. His deal is his deal. No, this is your deal. So basically, you're not getting the same deal. This is the deal that we're offering. So he said, then there's no deal, basically. Boy, what'd he say that for? That other boy over there found out that it's his brother. He blew up. We're taking this deal. I mean, he had a temper tantrum right there as if, he just blew up. He hit the rocker, right? You could tell his elevator didn't go all the way to the top in the end because he even started ranting like, I'm going to tell mom. And he stormed out of there. And come to find out their mama been dead for 10 years. So he's been giving some gypsy lady his money to go touch the mom, talk to the mom and whatever. So Oh boy, when he wasn't moved at all by what he had to say, and he stormed out of there. So Rock said, all right, so your offer. And dude was like, there is no offer. She was like, okay. And she left. And I knew that wasn't going to be the end of that. So then Rock tells Marvin, listen, I'm getting ready to go find out what's going on because he's dealing with Snaps and Pop. He's dealing with Ronnie. And now you're telling me they're moving heroin. I got to find out where they're getting this heroin from. You go take over this delivery truck thing because they're over there tripping. Do some recon, find out how we can squeeze this MF and, you take care of it. So they part ways. Now we see Butter at rehearsal. They're finishing up, and boy, they are slaying it. All of them. They look good. They're all in unison. They're on point. Even Isha. Isha doing her thing. They look like a very well-oiled machine. So they finish. And Juke is standing front and center. Like she's looking good. They get done. Even the manager's pleased. The choreographer standing there, they're pleased. So she said, oh, that was very, very good. Do we need to run through it one more time? Other two standing there looking at each other like, And she was like, Juke said, no, we're good. We don't need to run through another time. We're good. The manager was like, oh, okay. Juke, you're the leader. You spoke up. Crystal was pissed. She was hot. You picked her just because of that? She's like, no, I picked her because she know what to say and when to say it. But don't get it twisted. Just as quick as she got it, she can lose it. So if she messes up, then I'll be looking for somebody else to lead. We can be interchangeable with leadership. So, in other words, she was letting Juke know, don't get too comfortable with it. You got to stay, bring your A game, stay on your P's and Q's. So then we see Juke and Isha out. They're coming outside the studio, and Juke is talking. They're whatever. In a good little mood. But Isha's eyes are fixated across the street. You can tell she's looking somewhere. She's looking at Kanan and Crystal. They're across the street making out. But Crystal is looking over there at them. It was as if she held Kanan up because she wanted them to see her. You could tell she wanted them to see her. And so Isha tells Juke, well, I guess it didn't take Kanan long to get over me after all. And Juke looks over there. Boy, she wanted to go get her. Really, she wanted to go get Kanan. And Isha had to pull her back. Like, nah, don't waste your time on them. I'm good. She said, think I'm sweating on that? Don't you go say nothing to him. Let him have that. Let him go. I got you. And they walked away arm in arm. So Jukebox is at the train station. And she's standing there waiting on the train. And these girls come running down in the little tunnel where the train is, and they yell, you Jukebox, right? And she look, who are you? And they tell her, you ain't making rehearsal today. And they proceed to jump her. Well, in the end, she holds her own. She knocks them down, she bangs them up. And what was tripping me out is people was getting off the train, they just looking. Nobody trying to grab nobody. I was like, wow, this is a cold world we live in. Ain't nobody trying to help her. They trying to get out the way, right? She gets them down, and then they I give them this credit. They came back. They got back up, and one of them popped out a knife, and it goes off. So now we're at the bando. And the camera pans down to the mattress on the floor in the bando. And Kanan and Crystal are laying there. In the bando. It just speaks volumes for both of them, really. He don't care nothing about you, and you obviously don't care nothing about you. Because you in the bando with this dude. Anyway, we get a knock at the door, and Kanan gets up. We know it ain't Ronnie because they wouldn't have stopped knocking. He just keeps knocking. So Kanan gets up and goes, he looks out the peephole, and he's pissed. I'm thinking it's Rock. Because usually when he's that pissed, it's Rock. He opened the door, and Rock done sent the lady over there at him. She done sent the CPS lady over there. And she tells him, your mama told me you hadn't been staying at home. And, he lied, tried to play it off. It's like he be out, working, and he get over there late and he just fell asleep, whatever. And the lady, pushed her way on in, and she's looking around in there. Luckily, they ain't had none of their stuff laying out. She look around in there, see old girl laying on the mattress on the floor. And she tells him he's got 24 hours to get home. And she leaves. Kanan and Ronnie sitting in the car. And Kanan, they sitting there, they like they watching something, and Kanan goes, there she is. So we find out who she is, and Ronnie gets out the car, and it's the CPS lady. And I'm like, oh, Lord, Ronnie, what you about to do to this lady in broad daylight? What you going to do to this woman? He walks over to her, and you see him talking, and you see her standing there. And then he takes a couple of more steps into her, and there is just really no telling what he said to this lady. I wished they had let us hear. What did he say to this lady? Because he turns around and walk off, and she skips to her car so damn fast and gets the hiccup out of Dodge. So then we see Captain Burke outside of Nicole's dad, Mr. Bingham's house. And Mr. Bingham had just come home from wherever, and Captain Burke approaches him, asks him, hey, can I talk to you? He said, I'm Detective Burke. He said, well, I know you're an ex-detective. You're retired or whatever. But come on in, what is it going to hurt? So they go into the house, and they're sitting at the table, and they're talking. He starts to tell Mr. Bingham all the stuff that, his daughter was accused of, and, that wasn't like her. And Mr. Bingham was like, yeah, all that stuff. I'm going to be honest with you, man. When my wife was bringing all those charges up against her, I wasn't really with it. I wasn't really, trying to pursue nothing against her. I just wasn't, that's just not the headspace that I was in. However, when that other detective came by and he told me that, she was probably guilty, I had no choice but to believe it. And so Captain Burke was like, what other detective? And he said, oh, he told me not to give his name. And he immediately knew, and he said, Malcolm Howard. And you could just see, it seems like Mr. Bingham had like a look on his face. He didn't come out and say it, but the expression that was on his face, it looked like a, you guessed it. So it's about to be some drama for Howard, boy. Woof. But we shall see. So we're at the precinct, and Howard's there, and he's talking to Detective Ogden, the narcotics guy that he's going to be taking the gig from if he gets the promotion. He's telling him, hey, I wasn't supposed to tell you this. He said, but we're really, really closing in on Marvin Thomas. We got, some people from he named those 2 apartment complexes that they were moving product out of. He said, we got some residents and some tenants. And I'm like, wow, whatever happened to the code? Y'all telling on us? Oh my God. That just, when he said that, I was like, wow. When he said it was some tenants that's talking. And I'm like, wow. So, of course, this kind of pissed me off, but it's kind of like I'm glad he's telling Howard this. And I hope, Howard can, fix it before Captain Burke, bring it. I don't know what's about to happen, but it just really is making things really interesting now. Really, what is going to happen to us? Like, because we need Howard to stay where he at. So then we see Marvin and Gerald and the girls, Gerald's daughters, they're having breakfast, lunch, they're eating, right? I really didn't pay attention to what was on the plate. The girls was over there coloring. And it looked like they were doing, some interview work as well, because Gerald, of course, was asking his nosy butts, was asking some questions. And then he want to ask about bulletproof records. And he was like, well, who all, worked for Bulletproof and all this? He's like, why are you asking all these questions about Bulletproof? This interview is about Juke. He's like, well, she worked with Bulletproof, so, I just wanted to know some history on Bulletproof. He said, because I heard, I got a friend down at the station and a buddy of mine down at the station. I heard that, Bulletproof had some ties to the mafia. Oh boy, this pissed Marvin off. And Marvin was pissed. And he told him, you don't need to be asking no questions about Bulletproof. You don't need to be asking no questions like that. And he said, what are you getting at? And then you could tell, he was trying to do his little exercises that his ex-girl taught him to calm down. He even looked over at the little girl coloring, and he was like, yeah, baby, there you go. Stay in the lines. You got to stay in the lines. You can't be cutting outside your line like your daddy. That was funny to me. So, yeah, he's beginning to realize that Gerald, there's something about Gerald he don't know about, and he's beginning to realize that. I thought that was kind of interesting. So now we're back at Butter's studio practice, but Juke's not there. And the manager's like, okay, we'll give her, 2 more minutes. If she's not here, we're going to, have to move on or whatever. And Crystal just got this smirk on her face. Like, yeah, if she make it, she made some little snide remark like that. And Isha looked at her like, whatever. I would have been like, what'd you say? I would have made her say that out loud. But she said that under her breath where nobody could really hear what she said. And as soon as the manager said, she got 2 minutes, Juke, here comes Juke. Juke, rolled in, I'm here, sorry for being late. And to me, this manager can sometimes be out of pocket because lifes, things happen. And you don't have to always be because when she said something, don't be no excuses. Like, lady, come on now. Your punk ass friends all lumped up. They ain't shit just like you ain't shit. But she said it to her low. But I'm wondering, did the manager hear her? Did Aisha hear her? They know she went straight to that girl and said something. Cause that was just, that was way out of pocket how she handled that. That was just, Lord have mercy. She needs to be out this group. For real. So Famous stops by the bar and talks to Shirley. She lets him know that, Lou isn't there. He's gone. He's going to be in a wind for a while. She's not sure how long he's going to be gone, but he left this for you. Here's your demo. You did a really good job on it. So Famous was like, oh, man, he's not going to be here. So he's got ready to leave. Then he thought about it. He said, hey, you mind if I work in the studio and work on some stuff? And, at first she told him no. And then she told him, because she said it's not my equipment to lend. And then she told him, you know what? I think he would love for you to put it to good use, and work on, your craft and everything. She said, but it's going to come at a price. I need for you to help me around the bar, do some cleaning, wash some dishes and things like that. He was like, bet. I don't know, lady, Miss Shirley. Famous is very, very lazy, Miss Shirley, but we shall see. So now we come to my second favorite scene of the night. And that's Rock going to meet up with Snaps and Pop. She walks in, and actually this is my backdrop of choice. Rock is sexy, man. But Rock goes to meet with them because, they're working with her son. He's 16. So she goes in there and tells him, you ain't got no business with my son. Don't be working with my son. Son, I heard through the grapevine, blah, 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 blah. And they're pretty much, to my surprise, they pretty much denied it. Like they haven't been working with him. But they told her, they're working with Ronnie. Well, they didn't even call Ronnie name. They said, we're working with an acquaintance, and that acquaintance works with your son. We don't work with him directly. So she's like, you have no business with my son. He's not to have any dealing, whether directly or indirectly basis. She just putting her foot down. And then I guess, Snaps gets in his feelings about it. And he begins to tell her how, he pretty much tried to give her a speech like she gave Lou, like I own you type. Like we built this and we started this and, do you know who we are? And he was really, really firm about that, like what they used to do, trying to remind her of everything that they used to do and how they're not to be played with and, what they can do and, trying to like remind her of who they were. And two, how they have money. And like, in other words, you can go make your demands to people that need you for money, but we don't need you for money. We got our money and we still living off our money. And look at how she looking at him. She looking at him like, whatever, sir. Boy, bye. Right? She's not moved at all. She's not scared. I love this character. And when they get done, when he get done, because to be honest with you, Pop's sitting there looking at Rock like I would have been sitting there looking at Rock like I wanted to. And no lie. Like she was sitting there like she checking her out. I remember when you was a little girl. Yeah, she was checking her out. When you had your little pigtails. Like, in other words, y'all grown up now. It was funny. But Rock ain't paying neither one of them no mind, right? He's sitting there barking and the wife's sitting there lusting. And so Rock stood up and just let him know, bottom line, don't touch my son. And she just turned around and walked off. When she leaves, Pop says to Snaps, getting involved with Ronnie ain't don't like it worth all this. Because they know what's going to come with Rock. But Snaps trying to be hard. He said it was over, dealing with Ronnie was over as soon as she walked through that door. Basically, like, it's about us now. And nobody mess with us. Boy, you about to get it. I can't wait. He about to get it. Then we see Lou. Lou outside pissing on some graffiti. Drunk. He got the ball in his hand and he pissing on the wall some graffiti. Like he out there pissing. And these two guys see him. And they, in their mind, easy lick. Let's go hit him. So they approach him and they pretty much tell him, man, give it up. Give it up. And Lou, he talking his John like, what you gonna do? What you want? Y'all try to jump me? What y'all want? And he was like, give it up pretty much. Like, one of them pulled out a knife, or maybe both of them had a knife. I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention. I was really watching Lou. I'm trying to figure out what Lou gonna do, because he lit. But we already know Lou can still handle it, even while he lit. And so Lou pulls out his piece and just start firing at him. And boy, they got them running. They scurried off. And he falls. Dang this shot itself, if you ask me, because I just knew the gun was going to go off when he was on the ground. We later see him sitting in his car. And I think a lot of people have been fearful of this, what it looks like. And because of the talk of their dad taking his own life. But he was sitting in his car, and apparently he's fighting those demons as well. and he's drinking, and he keeps looking over at the piece. So he's fighting those demons as well. Then we see Marvin. He's outside the delivery yard, the shipyard. And we see Jerry come out of the gate, closes the gate, and he hops into the car with the receptionist lady. And they mosey on. And then the next scene we see is Jerry getting some head. And all of a sudden, you start hearing snap, like a, flash and snap. And it pans over, and Marvin's in the room taking pictures of this act. And of course, what are you doing? They jump, whatever. They're startled. And oh boy, the girl gets up oh, my job is done. She gets up and hands her hand out to Marvin, and Marvin pays her off. She's like, you working for? Yep, he pays better. She out. Who are you? And he tells her, my sister and I would like to do business with you. We want you to accept our terms. So he knew who Marvin was. He said, what if I don't? You gonna tell my wife? No, not gonna tell her. I'm just gonna show her something. And he just looking at the camera. Marvin is so comical. And so there's that solved. Rock told him to take care of it. He took care of it. So then we see Rock at Pernessa's house. And they're sitting on the couch and they're talking. And she's asking him about Ronnie. And Pernessa's like, listen, I try not to think about Ronnie. I don't see him, don't talk to him. He don't come and bother me. And I'd rather it stay just like that. He got his girl and let him live his life. Soon as she said that, you should have seen Rock. Girl? Ronnie got a girlfriend? Yeah, he messing with the chick from the bodega. So that right there let you know. Let her know where they getting the hair on from. Juliana. And oh my God, I was so happy. So I'm pretty sure Pernessa saw the look on Rock's face too, and she knew trouble. And she was like, listen, all I think about is my son. You got to go. So Rock got up out of there, but she got what she needed. She found out. So she got on up out of there. Then we see Rock at Hakeem's restaurant, Juliana's cousin. And she's telling him about the situation. And she's asking for his blood. And I knew she was going to go. Rock stands on business. She know what I'm saying? She know how the game is played, right? So she tells him, and she's asking for his blessings or his approval, or for his call, okay for her to go and make the hit. And he lets her know, yeah, I agree. She has changed. There's a lot of things about her after her husband died that changed. And I understood what he meant by that because of that culture. In that culture, women have a place, right? Which one of the reasons why I'm surprised that he kind of like really deals with Rock, but you can tell he really, really fucks with Rock. He likes Rock. I think that's what he kind of meant. Like when she had her husband, at least she was more quiet and submissive, and although he was going upside her head, right? But he noticed that. He just said she was different. And Rock told him, listen, she wasn't different. She was always who she is. He just, when she got rid of him, she came all the way out of who she really is and what she wanted to be. And so he told her, okay, I got you. He said, but listen, hold off. Before you do anything, let me do my own research. Let me hear from my people what she's doing, and I'll let you know. And when I call you, then you got the okay to go do what you got to do. And she said, okay. This is going to be good for Rock and what she's trying to do, because she respected that man and went to him. He going to remember that. So then we see Juke. She's done gone to visit the recruiter. And she goes to see a recruiter because she wants to know from him, what are the chances, what are the steps or processes, or if it's possible, what can she do to back out of her signing up for the Army? And he tells her, listen, you made a commitment You gave your word to your country. And, just like anything, it's easy to get in, but it's hard to get out. And she was like, well, I just need to know, what can I do? Are there steps? And if so, what do I need to do to take those steps? And he basically said, listen, this country has done, a lot for you. Why would you not want to fight for your country? And she's like, what has this country done for me? And he's like, your freedom. And she just had a look like, ha! She didn't say nothing, but that's the look she had when he said that. And she just got up like, good day to you, sir. Like, and she left. So I don't know what's going to come of that. Like, why she went to see him. Maybe she feels like, okay, I just got this lead. The group is now clicking in the group. But you still got this issue with Crystal. Maybe that's light work to her. I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like she burning that bridge too. So I don't know. We'll see. Gerald. Now, it came to pass what I told everybody. Go watch my previous video. Gerald is most definitely the snitch. Gerald is sitting in his kitchen at the kitchen table playing a board game with his daughters. And then we see some lights flashing outside, like somebody flashing the headlights. He tells the girls he'll be back. He goes outside, and it's the feds. He gets into the back seat of the car, and he's like, tell me something, Gerald. Hey, listen. You want your kids? You don't want to get locked up? You don't want to lose custody, man? Tell us something. We need to know something. So, I knew it. So we're going to find out. It's about to be ugly. So, because we saw the previews, right? Whatever's going on with Lou. And then Marvin get hemmed up. Who going to help my baby? Who going to help Rock? Who going to help Rock? So, I don't know what's about to happen. I'm sticking to the fact that Rock survives because in Power, Kanan says, Ghost was like, what took you so long? You've been out, you just coming through here. What you been up to, man? He's like, oh, I went to see my mom's first. Was it a gravesite? I don't know. Did he meet another lady that he started calling moms? You know how people do. They'll call their best friend's mom. I don't know. So I'm holding on to that because I want Rock to survive. We need her. Now we've made it to my very, very favorite scene of the night. And that is Juliana in the kitchen making her a cup of tea before she go to bed in her little robe. All things sweet. She think everything's sweet. She got a hair-on business on the side. She got her little man that she might be, working to get her some from. You know what I'm saying? She feeling good. She thinks she on top of the world. Right? Because probably, too, in her mind, she thinks she's going to be able to get Ronnie to kill Rock at some point. Because she was going to come for Rock. All of a sudden, she hears in the background, and she know that voice all too well without turning around. Scared little bitch from the corner store. She know it's Rock, boy. And there's Rock, boy. Boy, she turned around, and she had the nerve to start trying to offer Rock some money. I really didn't know what that was. What did she thought Rock was going to say? How much money would you... I don't know. And it tripped me out because it's like, dang, so Hakeem found out quick and got in touch with Rock. So that's the first thing she said, my cousin is going to get you. Something about her cousin. I don't even think Rock gave her a chance to finish. She said, Hakeem already knows I'm here. Bit. He knows I'm here. So she go to turn. I don't know what she was doing. She was called herself going for the money. Probably was going for a gun, really, and Rock capped her in the knee. She hit the ground, begging for her life. So Rock let her know, listen, You are a problem that I should have took care of a long time ago. You're a mistake. And she said, but the difference with me is I come back and fix my mistakes. And that's all this is. I'm taking care of my mistake. And she did exactly what she taught Kanan to do. 2 to the chest, 1 to the dome. That's how she do it. So, no more Juliana. Juliana's finally gone. I've been waiting for it. I couldn't wait for her to get hers. Couldn't wait. Yeah, it's getting good, man. It's getting good. So, all right, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video, tell a friend to tell a friend. And as always, stay safe and on to the next one. Peace.